Regan Smith is the fastest backstroker the world has ever seen. She is the current world record holder in the 50, 100, and 200 backstroke events, and she is world class in butterfly as well. But let me ask you this, how is she swimming so fast? What makes her so special? And how does she beat out competitors that are significantly taller than her? I mean, she has 8 Olympic medals and 16 world championship medals. So let's break down her technique first. Then we'll look at her backstroke start, which I think is one of the best backstroke starts in the world. And at the end of the video, I want to share with you guys an exclusive interview that I did with her at the Golden Goggles. There she is right there in the middle of the pool. This is at the World Championships, and she gets off to a phenomenal start. Like I mentioned, we're going to break it down piece by piece at the end of the video, but the first thing that I want to focus on is the underwater, because in backstroke, this is potentially the most valuable skill that you can have. Not just transferring speed off of the start, but also being able to carry that in a neutral, streamlined position like a dolphin underwater. Look at the breakout. There she is right there, and you can see the entire body is very, very streamlined. Streamlined is the most important because water is 800 times more dense than air, and all of these swimmers are extremely streamlined, and they're very, very narrow. The dolphin kick, both up and down, we're gonna look at the dolphin kick on her second 25. This is the 50 backstroke where she broke the world record in a monster 25.2. But really look at how narrow all the swimmers are. You know what's crazy? When you look at where they're breaking out, look at where the 15-meter mark is. That's where you have to pop up before the start. And look at where the first stroke is actually taking place. I mean, all of these swimmers are taking their first stroke, and maybe it's the camera angle. It looks like they may have room for another dolphin kick, which is pretty crazy. I think part of it, this camera angle makes it look like there's way more room to go until 15 meters. But of course, you don't want to get disqualified. So there is a balance that you have to play. And I think Regan Smith does this really well on the second 25 of the 50 backstroke. She's able to push that 15 meter much closer than any other swimmers on the second 25. So let's go ahead and just play it, and you can see what I mean. You can see, just if I go back a few frames, you can see how the time from that first stroke until the breakout, she's obviously clear before the 15 meters, but you can see that's where essentially the head is breaking out, and that's where the 15-meter mark is. You see, especially on the men's side, the guys are really pushing that 15-meter mark even more aggressive, and it's like, you know, the head is literally breaking the surface at 15 meters. Of course, you want to be careful. You don't want to get disqualified. And looking at the ladies' heat here, all of them probably have another half meter to a meter to go. But let's talk about why she's so fast under the water, because if you notice, and I want you to watch the next few seconds very closely, she actually loses a little bit of her lead to the swimmers in the lanes next to her, meaning she is not the fastest swimmer over water, at least in these first 25 meters in this race, when she broke the world record in the 25 and the 50 meter backstroke, which is kind of crazy to think about. Look at this lead. She starts to actually lose it a little bit. Now we're talking very, very minor amounts. Like, look at where her head is and look at all of her competitors, how close they are. They're literally neck and neck. But if you look at what happens at about 16 to 17 meters, she had a bigger lead than the lead that's right here. Let me actually go back and you can see what I mean. Let me go back right here. Do you see how she has even more? It's very, very minor, but basically she's able to just maintain her underwater speed, transfer it into the overwater speed, and then kill everyone on the second 25. I think she even negative splits this race in a 50 backstroke, which is pretty crazy. Going into the wall right here, and you can see she's now turning over a little bit faster than everyone else. This is something that Ryan Murphy does from the United States as well. And at the end of the video, not the end, like literally in a minute or two, I'm gonna show you guys how she's so much faster when it comes to the turns. And something Ryan Murphy has, it's kind of like a secret weapon that these top swimmers actually have. So let's watch her go into the turn, flips over faster than everyone else, and then there she is underwater. Let's take a look at this underwater undulation. I mean, all of these swimmers are really good. You wanna have your toes pointed. All the swimmers have their toes pointed. And then you can see here, look at how streamlined. Eyes are looking as close to up as possible. All these swimmers are doing that because that means your body is flat. All of the power comes from the core. So let's go ahead and keep this thing moving right here. Wow, look at that dolphin kick. There she is. Look at how streamlined. I mean, all of these swimmers, world class. None of them bending their knees very much. What they're all doing really, really well is kicking in both directions. They're kicking both up and they're kicking down. This is really important. I emphasize this all the time on the channel, and really make sure you're doing this in your own swimming, because this is why the fastest swimmers in the world are able to go so far and so fast underneath the water, off of the push and off of the start. So let's take a look at that. Wow, look at all the power that all these swimmers are generating in both directions. Kicking is really all about having symmetry with your body and really maximizing the amount of surface area that you can pull with. In this case, your body is actually doing the pull, and that's really what makes them so fast, especially underwater. There's the breakout. You can see again, that's the 15-meter mark, and that's where the breakout was, but she did break out further than everyone, and that's one of the reasons why she's able to negative split this race. And you can see, oh, where are we? There we are. Look at her gaining on the world record line. That's actually pretty remarkable that she broke the world record in this event, and she's like kind of far away with it, which means she's just able to maintain her speed. We saw, and that's crazy because in the 50, I was just telling you, she lost maybe a nudge, or at least didn't pull away in the first 25. And now she's literally pulling on the world record line, which is pretty remarkable. Look at that. It doesn't look like she's going to get it. I mean, literally, even if you stick out her hand, she's not the tallest person. We're going to talk about that later. I mean, wow. Look at that. That is incredible what she was able to do at the end. And there's a world record. She broke the world record in the 50, 100, and 200. And one of the reasons why her, and I mentioned Ryan Murphy, are so good is because of training in a short course yard pool. Now, it might surprise you, but if I were to ask Regan Smith, which I did, I'm going to show you the interview, does she prefer a short course pool or a long course pool? Long course or short course?
Long course.
Morning practice or afternoon practice?
Morning practice.
Training trip in Croatia or taper?
Training trip in Croatia. I don't really do taper.
No taper.
Unfortunately.
So tell me more about that.
Well, I think I don't hold on to endurance very well. So if I rest a lot, I just like tank, and then I can't finish races. So I think that's why I can swim fast in season, because my body just doesn't require a lot of rest. So my taper like isn't taper. So it's sad.
And you know, the best athletes in the world know how to take care of their bodies both in and out of the water. Let's take Michael Phelps, for example. He would routinely get massages and work with trainers to make sure that he was loose and ready to race. He also used a cold tub to speed up the recovery, and that's why he took the plunge to create the Chili Goat with Master Spas. Now, their motto is go cold and live bold, because let's face it, if you want to be like the greatest of all time, you got to go sub-zero. These cold tubs have soft tread non-slip material on specific areas of the tub to make it easier and safer to get into and more enjoyable to use. It has the perfect armrest to make it easier to get in and out, and a spacious wide seating and leg area fit for a king or a queen. But it's more than a cold plunge. It's a transformative experience that is named after the greatest of all time himself. And it can be installed outdoor and indoor, and it really is the best ownership experience. We have an exclusive 10% discount code. So head over to the link in the description to see how you can get your hands on one of these and become the greatest of all time yourself. Now let's get back to Regan Smith. Right here I have some footage of her at the NCAA championships. There she is in the middle of the pool, absolutely dominating the field. And look at her maintain her tempo, her speed, 147. Oh my God, that's so fast. When she was a Stanford Cardinal, just racking up the insane times. What an absolute beast. Now let's go ahead and talk about her start, because her start is one of the best, if not the best in the world. She's right there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom in on this. Let's zoom in. There she is. Now I want you guys to pay attention. Look at how high she is out of the water. Look at where her butt is and look at where the water line is, right? Some of these other girls are not as in this athletic posture. She's very athletic. Look at where her head is. She's already got a head start on the field, literally, pun intended, a head start. Her head is closest to the other end of the pool than anyone else. So when it's time for the beep to go off, her posture is all ready to go. And sometimes people pull themselves into the block too much, and that's actually bad because you're trying to go the other way. You're not a slingshot. You're not trying to compress potential energy. That's not how this works. You watch the best starts in the world. You look at Regan Smith. Ryan Murphy's got an incredible start. You watch these guys and girls, and they are in a very athletic position waiting for the beep to go off, and you just explode backwards. And then the height that she is able to produce is incredible, and she's the smallest person in the field. If you guys saw in the interview, like I'm 1.77 meters, so I'm like 5'9.5". Look at her next to me with heels. She was way smaller than me. And so with that size, I mean, she's going up against some of the top swimmers. Like you look at a Gretchen Walsh, 6'1". I mean, she is not the biggest person, but she has the most explosive and biggest start out of anyone. Look at that. There she is right there. Look at the projection that she's going to have. Let me go to the next frame. Look at this. Look at the arch hitting the water in streamline, but look at the height and look at the distance. That is incredible how high she's able to get, how far she is off the wall. She is already, the race has literally just started. We are 1 second into the race, and she has more potential energy. Not only more potential energy, she's gonna hit the water in a better posture. So she's gonna clean entry. Look at that angle. She's gonna slide in. It is incredible. And then she just carries all the speed underwater in that dolphin kick. And that's really what the top swimmers are doing off of the wall. Now, all of these swimmers are so fast, and it's crazy to think that she is smaller than everyone, and off the start is able to create so much propulsion, so much speed. I mean, look at her right there. Boom. Incredible. So if you're not the biggest swimmer, if you don't have the most athletic stance, these are some things that you can work on. You can work on your athletic stance. You can work on your streamline. You can work on your explosiveness. You may not be able to get physically larger, but apparently in Regan Smith's case, the 50, 100, and 200, it don't matter. She's able to dominate in both the short course meter pool and the long course pool, when historically having a bigger frame helps you more in short course than it does in long course, because you get more momentum off the wall and start. That's incredible. She's incredible. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and happy swimming.